No, I was just going to say, Tiger showing up, it's always going to build that anticipation,
no doubt.
that excitement. People want to see what he looks like, and
Master.
And they want to go. I was breadcrumbing it. I didn't want to say it, but you took it there.
You said
I was breadcrumbing it.
We had some great moments in the NBA last night. Obviously, the number one guy that everyone talks about around the league, Danis Jenkins.
Man,
he's a point guard for the Detroit Pistons. That I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Most people are learning about his name today, Danis Jenkins. He was in there because of the fact that Cade Cunningham was out and is out with the collapsed lung, and obviously we hope he's okay as soon as possible for the Detroit Pistons, the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. But your Los Angeles Lakers, CC, have been awesome. They had won 9 in a row, but they lost last night to the aforementioned Pistons, 113-110, thanks to Danis Jenkins, who had 30 points in this. What? Who? Is this a tough pill to swallow, or can you deal with it because of the fact that, hey, 9 in a row?
Listen, when he's making shots like the corner three he hit at the end of the first quarter, all you can do is tip your cap to him. You can't even be mad at it. You can't. But, I mean, the thing that impressed me about what Detroit did was how they were able to find ways to hunt matchups that they wanted. They isolated Luka Doncic with Tobias Harris in the mid and low post at times in the fourth quarter, and they found ways to finish quarters in half strong. I mean, obviously, the shot at the buzzer at the end of the first quarter, they scored 10 points in the final 3 minutes of the second quarter. And then, of course, we know what they did in clutch time against the Lakers as well. So I think that's the part where you got to really be impressed with what the Detroit Pistons were able to do. We know the Lakers, from a defensive standpoint, are a bit challenged when they have their best 3 offensive players on the court at the same time. And it proved itself last night, the Detroit Pistons being able to take advantage of those lineups.
Yeah, I wouldn't panic over a loss like this. They had an incredible streak, and it's hard. The fact that it was as close as it was surprising to me with the way that LeBron played in the first half. Scoreless in the first half. He finished with 12 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. But the fact that they were even able to come back, tie it all at 91 with 9 minutes to play, that was impressive to me that the Lakers showed that fight last night. Yeah,
and here's the thing. When Luka has a bad shooting night like he had last night, LeBron goes scoreless, basically a ghost in the first quarter, you're going to struggle. And that's exactly what ended up happening yesterday.
The thing about this guy, Jenkins, he's a second-year player out of St. John's. The weirdest thing is, like, so when you have your star player out, guys are going to want to step up. Late in the game, when they needed, in essence, a game winner, he's like, all right, got it. Like, there was no hesitation. He hits this little baseline jumper. I was watching the end of this, and anything to get me away from my team getting pummeled by the Spurs last night in Miami. But he just had this confidence that you're like, where is this coming from for a guy that's not necessarily a big-time guy for them, but this Danis Jenkins, I can't get over it. And I got to tell you one other thing. I thought his name was Danis until last night. It's now Danis. It was always Danis, and I got it wrong.
Oh, people going to get it right now.
Oh, my God.
After you play like that, you ball like that,
the Lakers,
right now.
The Lakers are on a 9-game winning streak, and this is how it ends? Danis. You would think that's the word of the day, but that's his name. He was great last night for them, and you give the Pistons a lot of credit. I know the storyline is about the Lakers because of how well they've been playing recently, and they deserve all the praise. J.J. Redick deserves tons of praise. Luka deserves tons of praise for offense. LeBron, to me, deserves the most praise because of the way he's doing everything on the court. But give the Pistons credit. Number 1 seed in the East without Cade. J.B. Bickerstaff is great as a head coach. He was great. You know, he did a really good job in Cleveland. He comes to Detroit. Look what he's done here. And they go to this guy late and not their all-star Jalen Duren?
I was going to ask you that question this morning. Have we been overstated in terms of framing the Detroit Pistons as a one-man team with the usage rate for Cade Cunningham and how great he's been? We've always talked about how reliant or dependent they have been on Cade and what happens in the postseason if you take him away with some of the different looks that you're going to get defensively, more complex schemes, because it's game plan specific and you get to see them night after night in the course of a 7-game series. I'm just curious, have we gone too far in terms of framing the Detroit Pistons as a one-man band? Is this performance reflective of the depth and the toughness, but also the talent of this Pistons team?
Well, they're 8-2 without Cade this season, 3-0 since he was diagnosed with that collapsed lung. So they've been finding ways. Maybe they are more balanced than we have given them credit for.
If you're willing to fight and you're willing to play defense, you can be competitive against anyone.
In the regular season.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously,
But
I'm not going to pick them to win it all.
I know. I'm trying to spin it forward to the postseason. Because that's what the conversation is with both of these teams. I mean, yeah, we care about what happens the rest of the way as far as seeding is concerned, but both of these teams are going to be in it. Both of these teams are in the conversation for being in their conference finals. So I'm asking the question.
I think we have been too dismissive of them, and I think it's so many people, rightfully so, want to compliment the Celtics because it's an amazing story this year. I don't think we give enough credit to the Pistons. They're better than the Celtics. I also don't think we give enough credit to the Knicks, who I still think are alive. And you look at Jalen Duren, he was an all-star. Isaiah Stewart is somebody that I'll take on my team any day of the week because he'll fight you.
Yeah.
And then if you watch this, go online, watch the replay of this game. In essence, this game-winning possession by this guy Danis Jenkins. No hesitation. Has the ball at the top of the key. Like sometimes you need those dudes off the bench. That when all things, remember the Warriors, Leandro Barbosa in the early years. Like, hey, all things have gone to hell. Can you just figure something out here? We're not going to run a play. Just do something. Sometimes you need to do something, guys. Danis Jenkins for them in the game of the year for them was a do something guy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that he was able to do was create. And that was the question about what happens if Cade gets locked down. Remember when the Pistons played the Spurs and Steph Castle had Cade in a straitjacket, there were no answers in terms of who could create offense, who could facilitate the greatness of others, get the ball in guys' spots where they know what to do with it. We haven't really seen that from the Pistons until last night with Danis Jenkins. And so I'm curious to know, was that a product of guys just not having the opportunity? Or did they not have the guys? And I think we got the answer to that in last night's win for Detroit.
Well, remember something. They drafted a guy in Jaden Ivey, 5th overall. He's now on the Bulls to be that guy that you just said.
Yes.
So they thought they had a guy to do that, right? But he did not work out for them. They knew they needed that kind of guy. I just think we have gone too far in dismissing these teams in the East because we just are in awe of the Celtics story.
Yes.
And I think that Detroit is still... Boston is closer to 5 than they are 1. Think about it. Numerically, they are closer to the 5th seed than they are the 1 seed. So when you're asking the question, are we too soon to write off the others, so to speak, in Detroit? The answer is yes. Because they still have held off Boston once Tatum has come back.
Isn't that a reflection, too, of coaching in Detroit?
With JB?
Yes.
Yeah,
JB's a great coach.
He's so listen, he's been around here. We've gotten to know him a tiny bit. He's so likable. He's got the background, obviously. His dad was coach forever. And he's now had multiple stops where he's been successful. And it's moments like this where you beat a team like the Lakers with a 9-game winning streak without your best player. That's a reflection of coaching. There's no question about that. All right, well, Cade was an MVP candidate. SGA is probably the leader in the clubhouse. Luka finally lost last night, but there's one guy who thinks none of those guys should win the MVP, and he should instead. We'll get to that next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
NBA Wednesday on ESPN Radio. It's an Eastern Conference showdown in Motown. Jalen Johnson and the Atlanta Hawks are fighting to escape the play-in tournament. They'll head to Detroit to face the Eastern Conference leading Pistons.